Record. Here we are, another Saturday Night Live with special guest Elaine, sharing her MFS experience. How you doing, Elaine?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Freaking amazing.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Sorry we started a little late. I was saying we ran into some traffic jams. We got stuck in traffic, whatever term you want to use. There was a lot of cars stopped. So you've been maybe you want to go through your background, how you grew up basically and stuff, and how you came to find MFS and diet styles and so on and so forth. I know we know a little bit about you from your posts and stuff, but this is all your floor. The floor is all yours.
Okay, sure. So as a young child, I was very shy and insecure. I loved to read and gather information, and I remember bringing special treats to school to try to get people to play with me, especially fudge. Everybody liked fudge back then, so that was a real winner. I started to get sick a lot as a young girl. I developed tonsillitis many times, so I was on several rounds of antibiotics. I never did have my tonsils removed, thank goodness.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. And then I developed an eating disorder as a teenager. And that lasted about 4 years. And throughout my teen years, I was doing that. I started drinking quite a bit, getting really sick. I remember having a really bad cold that lasted an entire winter. And that became common for me. So in university, I was in the hospital a few times just with really, really bad upper respiratory infections. And so fast forward to age 28, I got a hepatitis B vaccine, and that just knocked me out. I developed joint pains, hives, even sicker than I already was. Yeah. What else? My energy just went way downhill. And so that's when I entered the world of complementary medicine. I got myself a naturopath. Is that me feeding?
I don't know if somebody could have a mic opened.
Okay.
Can you guys check your mics?
Yeah.
Mute them, please.
It's Bonnie. Bonnie, you've got your mic open.
Yeah. Let me see here. Well, continue, Elaine.
Okay, sure. So I entered the world of complementary medicine, and I just worshiped my naturopath. So anything he said, I did. And so I started, well, I was diagnosed with having candida. So I cut out fruit, of course, and sweets and gluten. So that was the good side. And I ate that way for 20 years. And I just kept on thinking I was doing the best thing diet-wise, eating that way. But
your diet growing up was average, regular?
Okay, so my diet growing up, I grew up here in Canada and Ontario. A lot of really nice home-cooked meals with liver. Liver was a favorite. Yeah, meatloaf. Cooked vegetables, totally cooked, so they're just gross and soggy, and lots of bread, cereal, milk, cheese.
All the good stuff.
All that good stuff. And then as a teenager, I think I lived off red licorice, and that was about it. So, yeah, and then as a young adult, lots of junk food, donuts, pizza, chips. Not so great until I found the naturopath. Yeah, so I started getting a lot of pain. The first thing that happened was my knees. That was after I got the vaccine, so age 28. About 5 years later, they started to feel better. But the pain, it was spreading throughout my body, so I would have back pain. Both my wrists would hurt all the time, so I would have to wear wrist guards. And then my feet started to hurt. So I was about, actually that was quite a while later. Anyway, about 8 years ago, my feet started to hurt really bad. And I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, and I did everything I could think of to treat it, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
All those wonderful names they come up with.
Yeah, yeah. And then they would look at me and like, well, we diagnosed you and gave you a treatment plan. Why aren't you better? So I would be like, well, you tell me. I don't know. And so I developed this belief about myself that nothing would work for me. So yeah, and throughout this time too, I have 2 children. So after my second child, I developed severe postpartum depression. So I started to struggle with my mental health quite a bit as well. Yeah, so my feet got so bad that I couldn't stand. I would always have to lean on something, and I could barely walk. And what else? My eyes, I started to develop severe dry eye. So things got really bad right before I found MFS in March of 2018. About 6 months prior to that, my house flooded. It was destroyed. And during that time, I had to move 6 times with my family while my house was being fixed. And my health was terrible. I could barely do anything, and I got so depressed. And I started to look into medical marijuana. I thought, okay, I'm a hopeless case. I need to take marijuana to dull the pain. So I started following someone online who is a vegan who is into medical marijuana. So I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe I could try becoming a vegan, because I had kind of given up on my naturopath, finally. So
Was it
about
high protein they recommended in naturopath? Because they're doing that a lot these days.
this lady, she's not a naturopath that I was following online. She's just somebody, she's called Aunt Kelly's Farm, just somebody really cool I found online, and no, plant-based diet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I got lucky there. And then I started, that was around December of 2017. I met someone in my community who's on the MFS page, and I met her on Valentine's Day. And that was of 2018. That was also the day that I moved back into my home. And I started MFS 2 weeks later, March 1st, 2018. Yeah, so that's my background. Did I cover everything there?
I don't know. Keep going. Just
All right.
whatever you feel. Just
Oh
let it
yeah,
flow.
I forgot one more thing about my background. I had really bad perimenopause. I went into perimenopause really early, like 41, 42, and then I stopped my period at 45. And I was on all sorts of bioidentical hormones, everyone, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, because I was just in rough shape, and thyroid medication. My thyroid was not working very well, hypothyroidism. Yeah, so I was in rough shape. I almost went off work on long-term disability. I would go to work, I teach young kids, and I would just sit there and have them come to me. Yeah, so I was in rough shape. I found MFS through a vegan friend, and I started 2 weeks later on March 1st, 2018. And I did full MFS for 40 days, followed by 32 days of MFS hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the hybrid it was interesting, because I remember posting online on day 40, I I had a bite of potato, and there was this big hoopla about it, and people were saying you have to start over. So I thought, oh, forget it. So I'll just switch to hybrid. But you know, I barely ate anything for the next 32 days. I just would cut open a tomato. So I followed full MFS, and I would cut open a tomato and suck out all the juice every day. So that was my MFS hybrid for 32 more days.
Mm-hmm.
And then in September, I did 30 days. And in January of this year, 2019, I did 21 days of full MFS. And then I've done several, like here and there, 1 or 2 or 3 days. So that's the MFS that I've done.
So you talked about all these challenges you had as they were in the past.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So right away after going on full MFS in March of 2018, first of all, I stopped all the medication. I was taking sleeping pills too. So I stopped all my hormones, my sleeping pills. The only thing I didn't stop was my thyroid medication. And immediately, like within a week, my dry eye was completely gone, and it was severe. Like it was affecting my ability to work. So that was gone. I started to lose weight that I couldn't lose any other way, so that was nice. I used to drink like 18, I'm not exaggerating, 18 glasses of water a day sometimes. It was crazy. So that completely stopped. I had severe chapped lips. That went away. My skin and eyes got a lot clearer and brighter. I stopped taking the ridiculous amount of supplements I was taking. Within a few weeks, the pain started reducing in my wrists, so I could stop wearing wrist guards all the time. I started being able to walk slowly. The walking didn't fully get better for several months, but it started to get better. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I started, before MFS, developed this weird, like creepy electrical sensation, like crawling under my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I would feel like I was getting shocked, and that would make it difficult to sleep at night, and that completely stopped. And that has never come back. None of my symptoms have come back. My energy.
I think you mentioned that family members believes you have an eating disorder, but
Yeah. So
it's.
Okay. So one thing that happened after my second MFS. So my second one was 30 days in September. I got really skinny. So I'm 5'7", and I was down to 95 pounds. And because of my history of having an eating disorder many, many years ago, well, I did look very, very skinny. I have 2 teenage daughters. So my parents started to say, maybe I'm a bad influence on them because it looks like I have an eating disorder again. So that caused some real problems. And for a while there, the communication with my parents was not regular. And I just stuck to my guns, though. I've decided if I lose my family because I'm just following my path, so be it. Like I'm kind about it, and I don't try to push it on anybody, but I won't let them tell me what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like they just can't comprehend, what you went through and how you're feeling, how you feel. It doesn't matter the way, how you feel at the moment. And once you've cleared all that stuff out, they just can't comprehend that. And in their understanding, we look sick when we lose all this weight because they just don't understand the whole process of what we're doing. And it takes what it takes, a year, 2 years, 3 years, doesn't matter. But we start feeling freaking amazing, and that's all that matters because
Well, I worked so hard to try to understand, and I just can't, because it's not just my parents, other people too. They don't seem to care about all the health benefits I'm gaining. It's just about how skinny I look. So I don't get it, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
It's difficult in our societies today to um, try and um, give them a perspective of what it is and how the body works and what it has to go through and so on and so forth through a massive fasting lifestyle. People
Yeah,
are clueless in general about fasting out there. What I've seen in the last 3 decades, they're mostly clueless. They're just throwing all kinds of science things that they're coming up with and so on and so forth. Has nothing to do with my experiences, and I don't have all the answers by far, but I see things in a whole different way from just being so stubborn to find the solution to all my challenges that I had. And listening to the sciences always got me in more challenges and more problems in my life. So,
Yeah, family is absolutely very interesting. It's like um, all the emotions involved. When we meet our families. Are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
for me, it's very interesting.
yeah. And I just like lately I've decided to like be really loving to my parents no matter what, and whoever says stuff to me, and I try to think of how I was before, and maybe I would have judged somebody that skinny.
Yeah.
Probably.
And,
Yeah.
and
of course.
remember that we have lots of, when we are with our families, we have like lots of emotions come up, okay?
Yeah.
And we are sensitive too,
Yeah.
especially when we're detoxing and going back, eating, and there's so many emotions involved. We know how it feels eating and fasting and eating and fasting. It's not easy on our emotions. This whole transitioning, but also you really want to keep your relationship with your family strong, regardless of like now I think it's important for us to understand them a little bit as well, and not to give up on them. Never give up on your family. Like no matter what, you can argue with them in the morning, but in the evening you want to make peace. Like you don't want it to be um, like distant for a long time. You want to come back together, and you want this. It's just normal. We have to get used to each other. We are different, and this is in our homes. If we can't make peace in our homes, how can we make peace with the rest of the world? Like it does not work. We have to find our peace within our home, despite our differences. And
Yeah.
and then you have your friends, which are more like-minded. So you love them and you communicate with them more, maybe.
Yes.
Your family, you have to love them and respect them regardless. And when you do that, when you're able to do that, I feel like the whole world can respect each other, because we are different. We have to appreciate each other. And as long as we're respectful, if there's disrespect, then it makes it much harder for sure.
Yes.
And it just takes more time to strengthen the relationship. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
As long as I'm a certain weight, everything is good. So I haven't done a long fast for a while, and I've gained slowly, very slowly, gained some weight. So I look slim now rather than, so it's all good. But yeah, I will just remember to continue to work on understanding them and being loving. And sometimes I say to them, look guys, I can walk, and we can go for walks again, and we can do fun things together. Isn't that cool? And they're like, yes, that's cool.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's what we need to focus on, have people take them away from the thinness kind of thing, because yeah, it's temporary. Don't worry, I feel
it's
freaking
waste.
amazing.
Let it go. It's waste. You don't want to be holding on to waste. Just
Yeah.
you know, like invite them to smell what comes out of you. You know?
Put it in a jar. That's what I did when I
Yeah,
started.
I was doing my.
Oh.
I
My
was like,
goodness gracious.
Uh-huh.
I was washing my colon today. I was like, holy, the smell is very strong.
It was-
It's just so wrong.
Yeah.
Not meant to
Yeah.
like that's like a dead flesh, dead body, you know.
Yeah.
it was worse.
Yeah. I had a lot of stuff come out that smelled like burnt rubber. Yeah, it was nasty. It's all bad. But yeah, that's another thing that my kids, my kids think it's really weird that I have a Kalima board and stuff. So slowly, everybody's getting used to
Right.
my weirdness.
It's not the norm, right? That's
Don't worry
Right.
the
about
thing.
them, you know.
Anything outside the norm is strange, weird, something's wrong with you.
But don't worry about them. You know, you're a good mother. You have exposed them to these things, and
Yeah.
I am sure that one day they will, get into it themselves.
Like-
Because I don't know any other way. You know, you have to clean up. You have to wash. You have to fast. You have to, eat cleaner. And I'm sure with the information being shared everywhere online, they will be exposed and they will say, you know what? My mom used to do that. My mom is so cool. She did that before anybody else in my family did it, before any friend talked about it,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So don't worry about them.
They
will catch
and
up.
they're not stupid. I'm sure they've seen where you were and what you're capable of doing now, right? And you were probably in these challenged states in pain or this, that, whatever, and now they're not seeing that anymore. So if you give them a quick reminder, yeah, like you just did, remember what I couldn't do anything. Now look at me. And that's
Yeah.
what you gotta focus on over and over and over, because that's all that matters. Who cares that you're thin? Who cares? It's even, let's put it this way.
Listen,
What if you had to stay
listen.
skin and bones, but you felt freaking amazing? Would you like to stay in that state or go back to where you were? Let's ask that question.
But nobody wants to be sick all the
I
time.
don't care. I'm just saying, if that's what it is, if you're gonna if this was it, you could feel freaking amazing every single day, but you're gonna be skin and bones for the rest of your life.
No, you're not.
What do you
gonna
want to
be-
choose?
But the thing is, it's not true. You're not going to be skin and bones for the rest of your life.
I'm
sorry.
just putting the scenario.
No, it's not going to happen. So
I
when
know
you
it's
are
not gonna happen.
clean, you're going to be perfect weight. Now it takes time, maybe years to get to that stage.
There's some people who will.
So no, don't get used to the fact that you're going to be skin and bones. It's not going to happen.
Good.
It's not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
You're cleansing. It's okay. Give it time.
Okay.
Like you
have to be
mentioned,
stubborn.
you mentioned how much water you're drinking and your eyes were dry. And when I say water is dehydrating, people laugh at me. They're just clueless.
Yeah.
Why aren't your eyes dry anymore? You just stop drinking water. Why aren't they dry anymore?
Yeah.
So,
One thing that's really changed about me is like my belief in how strong I am in my body. Like I was so hopeless because I was drinking all this water and taking all these supplements and eating what I thought was right and just getting worse and worse. And that caused me to be depressed and fearful.
Of
I was
course.
fearful.
This is after being, raw vegan, strict for 100% for almost a decade. Then I went into the high-fat raw vegan, and I destroyed my health. And I'm going, I'm trying to do things to improve, and I completely destroyed myself, almost killed myself. My friend died. And it was a psychological shock for me, but it was a needed road that I had to take to come to the understanding of what we know now. So, all these paths that we go, they're all for purpose. And it was a beautiful experience now that I look back, even though it almost killed me. It was a beautiful experience. All the experiences I had, from the first 40-day Concord cooked grape juice fast to all the ones in between and everything else that happened. When I look at the path of everything I did, which led up to where we are now, every single aspect of my experiences were for a purpose. Every little one. And it's amazing when I look back at those roads and how it all happened. It's just that I'm one of those, guys who are very, very stubborn, and No, I'm not going, pharmaceutical surgery and drugs. No freaking way. There's got to be another way. And I just kept going and going year after year after year, struggles up and down.
And you feel better,
And listening to all the bull crap from people, what you're doing is not right, blah, blah, blah. And just keep going and keep going and keep going. How many people would stick to it year after year after year? And this is why you see people jumping in mass fast and then taking off.
Yeah.
They're going back to their old ways and back into pain, misery, and suffering. And it's just, it's very difficult for somebody to have that clear vision, understanding that fasting is the way inherently in our design. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and that's what I understood. I just had to find the way to allow it to do what it had to do. And prior to this understanding was all about addition, and that was the problem. I didn't see that until decades passed. Right? And then I understood it's all about subtraction. It was flew right over my head, as it does to whatever we see out there, because it's all about addition. Take your supplements. You're deficient. You're deficient. You're deficient. You're missing this, that, and the other thing. Fats, this, that, amino acids, minerals. That's all we were focusing on before. And, it was such a revelation to come to the understanding of the art of subtraction and even get rid of the water, because I did so much research and experiments with water for years and years and years to finally say even that is an obstructive thing to put in the body. And it causes challenges. It's used for washing, and we love water. We respect water. But it's not made for drinking, because the body is the only thing that can feed, hydrate, build, balance, and heal itself from the source. Somebody's got their microphone open. Coughing. I can't, we don't have a way to mute this for some reason. There's a glitch in the Zoom.
Yeah, well, Gino, thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your extreme perseverance, because you created this genius system that works so well. And you help so many people.
Yeah, you're welcome. I had a hard time coming to an agreement within myself to start sharing this in social media. And I understand why now, after, jumping in and seeing all the bull crap that goes on in social media. It's multiplied, 100 times to what happens in our real life of all the bull crap we got to put up with. But, for the one person that can benefit with this information, it's all worth it. One person, that's all you need. And that's why we're still here, for that one person. And so we continue to do it, and we will continue as long as we can, because I keep an open mind always what's out there, and it's continuously always about something new that you have to add. Yeah. Oh, I've not seen anything new, and it's just okay. They're still at the same thing. I'm still continuing in the art of subtraction, and it for the people that actually do it, live it, and love it, the transformations and metamorphoses is unreal in people's eyes. It's just amazing, and it's awesome, to hear where you came from. It's those are miracles, because there was no hope for you with everything you were trying, and just like myself and many other people that have gone through many roads. People that have been in bed for 20 years, 30 years. People who've been paralyzed, or I've seen them do their first pull up and first swim. People that are, it's just like the stories are just awesome.
Yeah, and I was ready to just go on long-term disability. I wasn't suicidal, but I was getting there. I was just like, I don't want to keep living like this without being able to walk, in constant pain, depressed, fearful. That's another thing. My mental health is slowly getting better and better and better.
Of course.
I'm not yet living totally from soul source and all that, but just my emotions, I was really fearful. And I got into a car accident a few years ago, and I stopped driving. And just recently, I've been doing other work on myself too, like meditating. Just recently, I'm able to drive again. I'm not afraid. So I'm just noticing, without doing like crazy amounts of work on myself, things are just shifting, and I'm getting slowly getting happier and more calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As the years go by, you'll see, some subtle changes, some massive changes, and it'll continue because this is the journey. And once we commit to the journey, and devote and trust and soul, it all starts happening. The transformation takes time because we've been ingrained for not only our lifetime, through generations of our ancestors. This is not something that's going to happen in 3 days. Your whole immune system's rebuilt on a fast. This is ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. I have not seen anything come close to that. We're doing 108 days, and yeah, massive transformations, but it's just the doors opening. That's it. That's all it really is. 108 days opens the doors. And now, are you ready to live and love it? Or are you going to go back to whatever you wanted to do prior in your life? And either choice is okay, as long as you're 100% responsible for those choices you make in your life. If you want to be back in pain, misery, and suffering, all to you. We support you, and we love you and all the same. But that's not what this is about. This is about coming to this new understanding that it's a journey for the rest of your freaking life. There's no events like going to a circus, and it's over. No, the event is continual, and we continually work at it. We continuously refine it. We continuously will make changes here, there, and everything to make it work for us. There's no stagnation in the universe, so there's infinite ways that we can make this thing work and allow ourselves to love it, and continue to go down the path. Because if we don't love it, we're not going to do it, and that's the challenge for people. So for some people, maybe 1 day a week fast, which I think is not enough, but I'd like to see people do at least 2 days a week fasting. 1 day dry, 1 day with all the stuff we use on MFS. So you're master fasting 2 days a week, right? Because dry fasting is part of the MFS lifestyle.
So,
and
yeah.
2 days a week would be the absolute minimum that I feel people should work towards, and then move on from that, and maybe go to 3 days after a couple, 3 years or whatever. That's this way I've seen it with guiding thousands and thousands of people over many years. 6 days a week is too much food. Too much food. Way too much.
What's your plan, Elaine?
Yeah, so can I share a little bit about my journey over the past 6 months?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So my last longer full MFS, 3 weeks, was January. And since then, I've been struggling to get on a full longer MFS. So I've done 3 days a week, 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 0 days a week for some weeks. And so my plan now, because I've been eating too much food, is to do a 40-day in September. And then after that, so that's going to be a nice big reset for me, do a weekly plan of at the very least 2 to 3 days a week. Because I think I was doing 1 day a week for a while, and yeah, it's hard for me to stick.
It's like we're so used and programmed that we believe we need to eat every single day, and that's the challenge. That's very, very difficult to change in the subconscious, in our program. And this is the best way to confront that and work around that is a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, which starts to change our belief system slowly but surely, starts changing the program. And we start seeing that, food does not give us energy. What the frick are we talking about? It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's so clear. Once you've started cleaning out at a certain level, your energy goes way up when you stop eating. Many, 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 many people have shared the same thing. So it's not something that I've come up with in my imagination.
Yeah.
Food takes your energy. Water takes, makes you thirsty. Food makes you hungry, and it takes your energy. So
Yeah.
these are the new understandings that we work on slowly and surely to come to the new understanding, and really, really get it to the point where we really start believing it. Because even though we've experienced a few fasts here and there, we've felt it, the belief system is not caught up to that yet, right?
Yes.
And that's what I see out there. We've seen it over and over and over with people. The belief system's not there, because some people gone back to their old ways, start blaming the mass fast system for all their misery and pain and suffering when they went back to food.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I was telling myself this story. I know it's not true. I was saying, oh, because I went so extreme,
Right.
then I developed all these crazy cravings. But now I realize I was like that before. I was just indulging constantly. So I didn't have time to really feel those cravings because I was just always eating. Whereas now I'm resisting.
What induces the cravings? The fasting or the eating?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just starting to figure that out. Like the more I eat, the more I want, not the other way around.
That's why we say the more you drink, the thirstier you get. The more you eat, the hungrier you get, because that's the fact of the matter. Obstructions cause the cravings and the need for these things, because they are in the way energetically, and blocking the flows. So the body's going, oh, I need more of that. It's like a drug addict, right? Drug addict gets his fix, feels great. Is it doing good for him? I've not seen any drugs do good for anybody, but they're in their mind, when they take that drug, they're feeling freaking amazing, right? Until it runs out, and then they want to get their next fix. It's the same thing with food. But we're not saying that people should never eat. We never said that. But what we're saying is we eat way too much. Let's come to a controlled situation with food, that we use it for fun. We don't use it as a necessity that we're taught and believe that it's something that we need. That's two different things completely. And, it's going to take a while for that to sink in to people. I still get bashed from so many people, left, right, and center, about saying, yeah, it's impossible to live without food, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever, sure.
Yeah, you might eventually realize that food is really not that much fun. I mean, if you do 1 day or 2 days a week of eating and master fast the rest of the week, you might find that it's really not that fun. Yes, we eat for the experience of it, when we eat 1 day a week, but you will realize that, even that 1 day a week is actually pain. And so you will have to make your own conclusions, how far you want to go after that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've been paying attention lately to exactly what you're saying. How fun is it really? Because it's really enjoyable while I'm eating it, but then afterwards, I don't feel so good, and all I want is more food. So it wasn't actually satisfying. So that's not so fun.
Yeah, what I believe is we're addicted to the process of eating with the taste. We're addicted to that process, more so, especially with social gatherings.
Yes.
Because everybody's doing it, and what we're really attracted to, or whatever the word I'm trying to look for, is that love relationship thing happening, where people connection with people.
The same food at the same time.
We're really in
the same taste.
In desire of that path, but we're using the material food thing, the eating,
to connect.
Instead of just connecting with the spirit of things, with the energies. And that's what's missing in all our lives. And many people come to challenge situations because they don't have that path in their life, that love, and they're trying to fill it with food substances over and over and over. And it's inevitable. It's never going to happen that you're going to be satisfied with it, because you keep doing it over and over and over, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And people get into these eating disorders of eating like crazy and gaining hundreds of pounds or whatever, or completely destroying their health because of putting all that food through you. The body has to use so much energy, but this what we're doing here is vital for people to have success in this lifestyle.
So
And
we can change our programming because we're sharing many experiences.
All these many people that have many challenges, we never see them on these calls. We see them dabble here and there on the posts on the Facebook page, and every time some of them come, they're making negative comments. And okay, what are you doing? What are you doing different in your life? What are you doing to make this thing change in your life? And what are we doing? We're committed. We're here every single week, every day on the page.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. And in my 3 decades, I can confidently say over 99% of people will never do this to change their lifestyle. Never. Never.
Yeah.
They may talk about I want to heal, and they're not going to do it.
Even if they are on
Even when they're on their deathbed. And lots of them pass because they just don't want to make the changes.
It's a lifestyle change.
Wow.
What is
you
it?
know what? It's hard for us to change. So imagine for somebody who is feeling sick and tired and already like not well, like
They give up.
on their deathbed or whatever,
Yes.
It's easy. It's a big commitment.
What does it take? It takes what we're doing,
It
being
takes
here
your
every
life.
single day.
It takes your life.
Every
It takes your
day.
commitment.
There's going to be a commitment, a challenge, an effort every day. Every day. It doesn't go away. You're going to have to put that effort in.
You're going to have to change your beliefs.
You're going to fall off here and there? Of course you are. Of course. But it doesn't matter because we embrace the time, we learn from the experience, and we ask ourselves, do we want to feel that, the pain and suffering, or do we want to continue on the path of being in bliss and feeling freaking amazing? And only you can answer that. And sometimes we're going to want to go down the path of feeling the pain and so on again. Just to feel, is it possible? Can I feel this freaking amazing every day? I have to try. I have to try and eat some food. And I want to make sure, is this freaking possible? And below you eat the food and you start feeling the pain and stuff. And then you go back and you feel freaking amazing. And sometimes we have to repeat that a few times, right?
It's the belief system to change it. It's not easy to change. We are stubborn, right?
Yeah, it's human nature.
I like what you said, that it does take effort every day, because I think I was kind of misleading myself that, it should be so easy by now, and what's wrong with me?
The problem is the lifestyle is too simple. It's too simple. We're used to complicating things. Going to shopping every single day, going to eat, to prepare and eat the food, and then having to purge the waste. We're used to all this complication in our life. When you're dry fast and sipping some juice, doing enema, bang, 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 you got so much free time. You're sleeping less, and it's too simple. It's too simple.
Okay, and another thing I wanted to say, like, how many of us come from raw food, and like many of us came into this lifestyle from raw food, and with raw food, Ranjit, yes, speaking amazing. So we are coming from raw foods, okay? When we came from raw foods, some of us came from a standard diet to raw food, and you see all these beautiful, 7 years ago, there weren't so many videos, but there were some, some stories that inspire you, some videos that would inspire you. Now you see the raw food recipes and restaurants all over the place. And so it's easier, you have many ideas, you have like a community. It's like a whole community, like there's so much support and so many people who would back it. With fasting, it's even like more, still not up there like raw foods, we still have to get used to it. We still have to love it. We still have to, change our beliefs and say, just like we defended raw foods, we're still in the process of defending fasting. Individually, you'll have to go through this. probably I was the only person in my family who ate raw food or even was vegan. So I had to go through this process to change my belief from cooked food to raw food, and then, from like standard to raw food, and then from raw food to fasting. Again, I had to change my belief system, and I had my ups and downs. And so you have to give it time. Raw food was not easy. It was not easy. It was definitely not easy to do 100% raw. So did we forget about that? It's not necessarily much easier than fasting. So we have to remember where we come from. My diet was never 100% balanced. I was never happy with my diet. So
Yeah, I
so
was.
it's okay if I'm not happy with my, fasting, balancing my fasting, because it takes a lot. Yeah, it takes commitment and discipline, just like any other lifestyle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was teaching, about raw foods for years and growing sprouts and all that. And most people say, I can't do raw foods, I get this, I get a cold, I get this.
Yeah, now you
And
tell them
fasting.
fasting.
And then say, well, that's not really where it's at. It's where the fasting is at. They don't even want to hear the fasting
It's
part.
funny, the first time they say, "Oh, but I love food so much," I'm like, you have no idea how much I love food. You have no idea. I said,
Yeah.
like, if you love food, you would be a raw foodist. Okay? Yeah. If you would really appreciate the taste of every fruit and vegetable. Then you really love food. Not
Yeah.
with like deep frying and whatever. You don't need to do that. Like, the real taste is definitely, I mean, we ate cooked, we ate raw, and I can tell you definitely good fruits and vegetables are top when it comes to eating. So we know food. I know food better than
Especially from your garden.
the average person, in my opinion.
When you eat
Yeah.
stuff from that you grew yourself, or somebody grew it, there's no comparison. Like in the energy of the food is just at a whole different level. That's why I did sprouts for so many years, because back then, looking at all the food that was grown, no nutrition in it, right? That's not the nutrition. It's the love. It's the love. That's what keeps us going. That's why we're so addicted to the food we grew up on from our mother. If we were fed from our mother, that's the most addictive food, and it's imprinted within our being, right? So live it, love it, live it, love it, live it, love it. That's it.
Find your way, never give up. Find your way, never give up. You
Yeah.
never want to give up. Just like on anything in life that you want to achieve, don't give up. Keep going, be persistent, be stubborn.
Can we go to social gatherings? Of course we can. Can we do them fasting? Of course we can. Can we join in their eating? Of course we can. You can do anything you want. When you have an understanding and you're living and loving this lifestyle, you can do anything you want, but be 100% responsible for all the choices you make. That's it.
Yeah.
Gino and I, when we meet, with people here, like there's always social stuff happening at home here when my dad is here, and we kind of hijack the whole conversation with fasting and clean eating and stuff like that. Even if we're joining them eating, we still we still take over some, like, maybe big part of the conversation, even if like not on purpose. We don't need to do that. Yesterday, actually, we met a guy who was it's funny, who's working like a high position in a pharmaceutical company, very like well off, established guy, and his partner is a neuroscientist doctor, also research, and I don't know, and she does some I think research for Red Bull for Red Bull. Millions of money, being spent on projects, and she is the manager. She says where these millions would go, and the research is like medical research for spinal cord injuries. Okay, so Red Bull, Red Bull is putting money towards, you know, the kids. So it's really interesting what's happening. So I looked at the guy, and he was like, oh, if you Um, he's talking very proud of himself, of how he's helping people with the pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, many of these things that you're saying can be actually um, can be actually healed by the body itself, through cleansing and fasting. And I said, Gina has put a protocol together, and he was like, oh yeah, that's cool. She's the right person to talk to, his wife or his partner. It's really funny. I mean, yeah, I mean they're talking about millions of money and of dollars, and they're so proud of what they're doing.
They'll never do research
And he said,
unpatentable things.
what did he say? He said we are pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close to
They've
resolving
been saying that 100 years.
spinal cord injuries. We're coming very close. Like, it's really advanced. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need millions of money. And then we were talking to him. We said, like, fasting has really, there's no research. There's not much research because there's no money. There's no potential money. You can't patent anything. And he's like, yeah, you're right. He knows. They know. They know. Yeah. And he was talking about natural healing, and then he's like, yeah, my partner is telling me, yeah, things can, you take herbs and this and that, you don't need to take medicine. So they know that stuff, but they are in the field, and they're high positioned, and they're kind of stuck in it. I don't know. And they believe, or they made themselves believe that they're helping.
Yes. Yeah.
The money's good, so they continue.
Yeah. Well, a slightly different angle, but I was at a party the other day and everybody was eating, and I decided not to have anything, even though they had fruits and vegetables. And because I didn't eat anything, I was just so much more present. Because I know when I eat at parties, I'm thinking about what I'm eating just as much as everything else. So it's just really able to be there and connect with the people. So it was actually better for me to not eat. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to be comfortable. You have to find your comfort, though.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because when people question me, sometimes I still get a little nervous. Just because I haven't had a lot of success with people supporting me with fasting. So now I'm more tight-lipped about it.
Yeah.
Not
This is why we have this community, because it's futile speaking about it out there. I at the beginning I wanted to help everybody, and nobody was interested.
Yeah.
So I gave up.
Not if you're going to talk about what they're eating and tell them to stop eating. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
There's a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Yeah, not interested. Yeah.
No. And even when, like I say, when they run into huge health challenges, they say they're interested and so on and so forth. But you guys watching, whoever's watching the board, you guys know what's happening.
Yeah.
People's not gonna do it.
Yeah. I don't know why, guys. I was just ready to do anything. I did not care. I was gonna do whatever it took.
It's only when you're ready.
Yeah. And so I'm grateful that I almost completely lost my ability to walk, and my wrists and my eyes and everything. Maybe that's what it took for me. I mean, that's when I found MFS, but I don't know if I would have done it earlier had I come across it. But I was certainly, I didn't think about it. I just got my stuff and started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What part of Ontario are you from again?
So I live in Brampton. I'm just
too far.
northwest of you guys. Are you downtown Toronto?
No, I'm in Woodbridge.
Oh my goodness, we're even closer than I thought. That's like half an hour drive.
Yeah.
Oh, I must come visit you guys. Next time yeah, wow, I didn't realize that. Yes, no food. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, so I was just cleaning out my area here because it was a disaster and I didn't want you to see all this stuff. And I just threw out tons and tons of old supplements, and I used to take tryptophan and melatonin and sleeping pills, and
Awesome.
oh my gosh, yeah, I don't have problems sleeping anymore. Like so many things cleared up.
I've spent fortunes on supplements. Fortunes.
Yeah,
Like when I say I spent at least $250,000 in these 30 years on
yep,
things to for my health, that's not underestimated. I really did. I didn't care. I just money was not an obstacle for me. Sorry, it was never an obstacle. If I didn't
yeah,
have it, I would do whatever I had to do to get the things that I believe were going to help me. And people put obstacles in front of them to buy some herbs that, living this lifestyle is way cheaper than any diet I've seen out there, unless you're eating rice and potatoes.
yeah.
But it's,
I don't understand that.
it's just
Yeah,
they're not going to do it.
not ready.
That's what
Yeah,
they're
just not
saying.
ready.
Is the
Yeah,
people putting in front of themselves that they're not going to do it. They're never going to commit, and that's what
yeah,
I've seen over these years. And so, if you're really committed, you go through the material, you do your studying, which has to be done because we can't do it for you. Oh, can you explain mass fast for me on the post? Yeah, go read it yourself because I'm not going to rewrite it for you. you know, go
yeah,
read it. We spent all the time, we've made all the videos and blah blah blah. We're here to support. Go spend your time because if you don't do that, you're never gonna freaking do what we're telling, what we're suggesting. Never. So
yeah.
I'm gonna waste my time with you. So I'm sorry. I've been through the 3 decades, and you're no different. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you were right earlier. It's quite simple, actually.
Of course.
Like it's simple. When I was cleaning out all this stuff earlier, I was thinking about all the pain and suffering that I've endured for years and years, like all these nasal.
Freaking amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's freaking amazing. It's so much. That's what all these bottles and crap represented to me. So much suffering and hopelessness. Like none of this stuff actually worked to fix anything. Yeah, and it just felt so good.
I've gone through supplementation, minerals and stuff where you'll see changes. What happens when you stop taking them? Go back to where you were, because they only cause obstructions in their stimulants. And if you understand, environment dictates outcome. So anything you put in the environment is going to have to change the way things are interacting. Yeah, you're going to see changes, but they're not going to the root and seed causes, which is what we're doing with fasting. That's the only thing I've seen that actually gets to the root and seed causes. The root is the physicality, the seed is the emotions, right? And that's what we want to get to. And that's why we see when people start detoxing, true detoxification, massive fasting, we see all hell break loose with emotions because they've never, ever been able to deal with that and bring them to the surface, and they don't know how to handle it. And this is why these support groups are vital and it's so important. It's the emotional aspect. The physical stuff is so easy. Fasting day is so easy. Wait till the emotions start coming to the surface. That's what we need to deal with. And there's a post running for a few days a week now on psychology and all that stuff. Good luck. Good luck. Psycho the rapist. Good luck. They have their purpose. They have their purpose because of people's belief system. That's the only reason they have a purpose. But in my lifestyle, I just have to go deeper and connect to source. That's where all your resolutions will come. Other people can maybe give you that little bit of support and inspiration, but at the end of the day, it has to come from within. You have to dive in. That's the only thing I've seen that really is a way for us to find resolutions. That's the only way I've seen. All the other stuff out there is all superficial and temporary, right? And that's what I've seen. That's my experience. I may be totally 100% wrong, but I don't think so because of what I've been able to witness through myself and through many others. And it just reinforces the downloads of the information that we get through long digestive vacations. That's where your information is going to come from. It comes from soul. And it's a beautiful thing because we all can connect to source through our soul. And when we do that, everything starts changing. Your whole belief system starts changing. Your programming starts changing. And things start improving because we're working towards balance. That's how all the universes stay in perfect harmony continuously, because they're always striving to seek balance. That's the only thing they can do. They can't do anything else. Humanity, they screwed it all up. They only seek imbalance. And that's why we have all these challenges. So do as the universe does. Do as creation created us to be. And everything will start going back to seeking balance, and everything will start correcting itself, and things will get better because they have no choice, because you're dictating the outcome towards that situation, because that's what's built in, and it's part of our being. It's because we work on the same principle as all the universes. It's so simple. We don't have to know all the intricacies of who, what, where, when, why, how, because when we get into the realm of trusting soul and the limitless realms, autopilot, that's the word I love to use. Autopilot. Ranji loves it. Autopilot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's beautiful. So anything else you want to share? If anybody's got any questions, whatever. It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I think I covered pretty much everything. Yeah, I just want to thank both of you from the absolute bottom of my heart. I just can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful, so grateful. I was, you've given me my life back.
Oh, you gave your life back. You
Okay,
gave your choice,
well,
and you put the effort, and you put in the time, and you're making the changes, right?
God brought us at the
We're
right
just
time.
we're just sharing our experiences. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't really talk about anything else but sharing my experiences and others' experiences in these past many years of guiding people, so that's all we can do.
You've created something simple, accessible, it works, it's not unaffordable. Like I'm just really grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Just pop in if you like. Unmute and.
I can pop in, but now the thing is, if I get going, that's it. Like I'll take the rest of the time. But I just, the only thing I want to say to Elaine is, man, you're just one of the most beautiful souls. I'm so graced coming to MFS because you just meet these like-minded soul connections, like yourself, Elaine, and I've seen you grow. Like you've supported so many other people, and it's just that infinity loop of giving and sharing in the place of in this realm with each other, and you're just such a beautiful, delightful soul. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your sharing. Your story is just going to inspire so many other people because you're just so damn freaking beautiful.
Oh. Thank you so much, Ranji. I mean, my goodness, you've lit a fire under my butt because you show everybody like how happy and loving and excited and joyful people can be on MFS. So thank you. You're such a darling.
As they say, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, we're feeling pain, but we can still feel freaking amazing because we know the pain's getting less and less and less every day.
Yeah. And I had like someone was posting recently about nausea.
Yeah.
I had severe nausea around day 40 of my full MFS. I was puking every day, every time I went.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Were you?
You told me to slow down a bit. Yes, which I did.
Were you doing everything?
I was, but I think I was just getting a bit too toxic. Maybe, I don't know.
Were you drinking enough juice, doing enough enemas, taking everything, the herbs and the plasma pudding?
I was. Yeah.
Doing everything?
I was drinking 2 liters a day, but I think what happened was I was throwing up what I was drinking. Like it was getting really bad, so maybe it wasn't going in.
Mm.
But that's when I slowed down and started sucking on the tomato, and
Yeah.
that worked.
That's where you start upping your enemas, get colonics and so on and so forth, or you slow down with some green juices or other juices or whatever. It's just, the body gets overwhelmed when it gets into this elimination mode, which is a fasting mode. It's sometimes because of the situation we are as humanity today's very, very toxic state, very obstructed. It's just too overwhelming for the body to be able to move all that. It doesn't have the energy, and that's why we use all these tools. And the herbs are energetically, they open the doors like no tomorrow. If it's the pudding that we're using to help absorb, the enemas, washing, the breath work, et cetera, using acupressure points, all these things.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
fasting?
Of
The dry
course.
fasting, were you overdoing it? How was that?
I think at that point, maybe I was just not getting enough down because it was coming out.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, I felt freaking amazing. So my energy level was through the roof the whole time on MFS, and I worked full time the whole way through, even when I was getting nauseous. So I was much better off than beforehand, even with all the nausea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just a body very obstructed state, and it
Yeah.
takes time to clear it out. We've had just a lot of people go through that nausea thing, and they don't want to drink anymore, and so on and so forth. And they just don't have the understanding of what's going on, and they think that drinking less they feel better, and that's a big, big, big no-no.
Yeah.
We keep correcting people because my whole understanding through my experiences is the complete opposite. You have to wash it out. The body's trying to move things out, and all these obstructions are causing all this stuff. So when we're in a fast, any change for me, as my interpretation, is amazing news.
Yeah.
Everybody else sees it as negative, and no matter how many times we say it, we still get all that.
But you want to know what to do.
Of course, we know what to do.
Yeah. So when you are like throwing up, okay, you have to slow down. You have to slow down. And if you're following the protocol correctly, you're not overdoing your dry fasting, drinking enough juice, and you're throwing up, then you really have to slow down.
Yeah.
Either with the green juices or maybe start eating.
Yeah.
To take it easy with the body because it's too much happening too fast.
Or like some of us, we've got pedal to the metal, more enemas, more enemas, more enemas.
I mean, yeah. I mean, did you do enemas?
I did 8 to 10 liters, but from my second MFS and third, near the end of my second, I got a Kalima board, and that was much better.
Oh, yeah.
Much better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way more.
Yeah, I didn't have the problem of nausea again using the Kalima board.
Don't be surprised if your next fast you may get some of that coming back because you know what I mean. You're just starting.
When you go deeper.
Yeah.
Don't just embrace it. Embrace it. It's not fun going through these things, but honestly, we need to jump for joy because the body is purging deep obstructions, and that's really what we're after. We want to move out those deep obstructions. A lot of the dizziness and nausea, also from the cerebellum, GI tract, everything's connected. The transverse colon is really connected to the head area. So we're working on everything. Oh, my liver's screwed up. How do we clean my liver? I don't know. We have to do the whole body. We have to do the whole mental and emotional body. We can't work on one thing. It's just ridiculous, that kind of thinking, that treatment-based thinking. You got to work on the whole thing all the time, continuously, day in and day out and day in and day out. And washing is, all part of it and so on and so forth. So the structure is all there. I've not seen anything in 3 decades even come close to the structure of MFS. I haven't seen anything out there. It works.
Yes.
We use it. It works.
It definitely does.
Can we improve it? Everything can be improved. Of course, that's why we continuously making refinements here and there. from people's experiences and our own experiences. We're continuously refine it, try to make it safer and easier for people. You know, that's why we
Yeah.
don't suggest people do 108 days anymore.
Yeah.
Humanity's not ready for 108 days. Let's work up to that.
And it's not only that, but also like the most important thing is that it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. 108 days, you're gonna go back to whatever you were doing. No, it's a lifestyle. If you want to do 108 days, be prepared to become liquidarian. You know, like don't do 108 days unless you want to really go that route. You know, because it's amazing, but it's a lifestyle on its own. The 108.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
even 40 days, you want to be careful, you know, when you break it.
What's Ranjit? You're on
You might
100.
not, you're not gonna like food so much, you know,
I,
40 days, right?
yeah, I think
Yes.
it's 160. I don't know, 67 maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere around there.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Because I hit 180 on 22nd of August, but I'm going stretching it to the season change in September. So it'll be back to back.
And you're still alive.
Yeah. What's so crazy is that I just been having 3 hours, 3.5 hours sleep. Because you know my story beforehand, where I had chronic anemia. I used to sleep 9 to 10 hours a night, and then on Saturdays after work, I used to sleep like 14 hours because of the chronic anemia. Really.
You must be taking
Well,
iron.
yeah, but I haven't got.
you're making iron.
I don't know what's going on. It's definitely the electricity. I tell you, what's going on in your tummy area and everything like that. You feel that swirling going on, and then you've got the nectar of God in the back of your throat, and you just go, "Well, I surrender to that. I'll surrender to that. I won't surrender to the man-made intellect of absolute crap, but I'll surrender to that and the positivity and the living on the love field and just that sort of stuff, Gino. I'm just on a high, on a complete high. I will share one experience. I don't want to take time off other people. I had this experience. I had a 3.5 hour sleep and I woke up and I lost the presence. For 3 hours, I lost the presence. I lost it. I lost the energy field. I was so dense in my body. I was going, oh my goodness, this is what people feel? Holy crap, I've got to get out of this situation. That's what I thought. But like, I just lost it and I said, God, you've forsaken me. Where are you and what's going on? And, you know, for 3 hours, I was just completely lost. But yeah, I did the enemas and I did all that. And then I released emotionally, went into the forest, had a big chat with a tree, come back. This is what you do. This is your lifestyle, right? This is what you do. This is a new normal, right? Have a bit of a chit. Yeah, have a bit of a chit chat, come back, got a massive download because you know the thing that I've been dealing with is feeling other people's hurt because I know I'm an example of change and that mirror of truth. So what come through for me being in the empty vessel is that I sacrifice my physical form and my physical vessel in order to be a mirror of truth for other people while I'm living in the change. I can handle the hurt that way. I can handle the hurt that way because the compassion is huge. The compassion is huge.
Yeah, you hit the nail, the hammer on the nail of the.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I can't even talk about it. When you're taking on other people's hurt, you know why that happens? Because you're feeding them, and it's coming back to you because your energy, the field strength so high, you just bring balance to that instantly. And the more you give, the more we receive. So we're feeding each other by feeding, the weaker fields. And how do you explain this stuff? It just happens. It just flows, and it's just amazing when you're in that state. It's just amazing.
And you know the crazy thing though, Gino, with all this, because it's always an internal, everything external always takes you internal. Everything external always takes you internal. The crazy thing is I'm trying to seek answers still from outside when I was in that 3 hour crap, right? I was still trying to seek answers from outside. Who is it that someone that's done, maybe a whole year of fasting? They're not out there. I didn't realise they weren't out there. These people that are pranic and breatharian, they freaking eat. And I'm going, there's no one there. All the other ones are hiding, and I don't blame them hiding because you've got to deal with this stuff. Yeah. It gets deeper and deeper as you go, but I don't mind being the change, and I don't mind sacrificing my physical form like you had, Gino. I don't mind doing that because it is okay once you realise that it's nothing about you. It's got nothing to about you, and you allow the divine to live within you, and you're the one that can transfer those energy fields to a higher field through your vessel, and you go that way. That's a lot better choice trying to deal with the man-made intellect out there and trying to go against that, because you're going against the manipulation. You know, we're going against the manipulation. When we know when we're born and we are fallen and we are the manipulator, okay, we are the manipulator. We know now that love always dissolves the shadow and the dark. We know now that we can actually manipulate the consciousness, because we are the ones that can use our vessel and our form to manipulate the consciousness that's happening. We have the influence on that. And that's the only way that I know, from my state of being now, is the only way that I know I can make an influence. I cannot make an influence by being an activist. I cannot make an influence by, you know, going up against the governments that we put in power. We did that. We're the manipulator. So you can't do that. You've got to do it the other way. That's the only way I know. I freaking love this journey. It's the best journey ever. Like the best. I love the suffering when it comes in. I love being in my dense body for 3 hours, getting out of it, and working that out so I can share it with you guys, because I only share it with you guys. I can't go out there on the YouTube land. It's too hard. Too many people come at you, you know what I mean? It's just too hard. So I'll do it here. If you let me be my crazy self, do you know? If you let me be my crazy self in the soul.
Yeah, right. You're doing it up in Brisbane, you see. That's God's country, you know. That's what you got to see too, you know.
Yeah, come on up, hands Peter. 8-hour drive and get in your ute.
That's it. But Elaine, just one other thing. I mean, like, as we touched on, just a bit of, see, for me, there's always things that you like to, as I said, like Ranji, everybody else has their own way. And what helped me quite a lot is just to think over and over that the power and intelligence that made us is the power and intelligence that heals us, all right? And there's nothing to it that, when you think that, and you know that that power and intelligence is that made your body. And what made your body is the only thing that can heal your body. So if you give, and as Ranji shows us clearly, when you live by the soul, which is that power and intelligence, then nothing can go wrong. And when you see that we as humans are always try to interfere with that and think we can better it, that's destructive, you know what I mean? That's where you get completely off course. You have to give yourself to the power and the intelligence and live that and feel that and repeat that. I do that all the time. See, Ranji, she goes out in the. I mean, I go to the park and enjoy nature just in the park. Just get away from everything and just let the power and intelligence come to you. And it does. It will. The cleaner you get, the more that comes into you and the more you understand. Can't describe it. It's impossible to describe. But it is there and it comes. And that is, for me, the faith that I have, the power and intelligence that made us. Because you can trust that. You can trust it endlessly, and it will take care of you. That's what I find so inspiring. You know what I mean? Like that with the system that you implement, because you need, for me, MFS is a shoehorn. It lifts you into it. It helps you to get there. But at the end of the day, it's the connection that you have, and it's that power and intelligence. That is what it is. It's not even about MFS. It's that your or my connection to that intelligence and power. And that connection is something that, you know, and then you can feel that you get disconnected, as you see with family, with all these different interferences. But it's only you can resurrect that, and you can sever the interference and find again connection to that power and intelligence. Because I'm not really, let's see, and that's why I, again, keep it simple. For me, power and intelligence, I can understand that. I don't have to have a dictionary, because a lot of times when I listen, in particular on the emotional side, people go in tangents, you know what I mean? I don't even understand the words they say to me. They've lost me completely.
Yeah.
But the power and intelligence that made us is the power and intelligence that heals us. Now that is so simple, but it is so simple, I don't need any further explanation. from nobody, from anything. It's me that can connect to that power and intelligence. Just as a little help. Here from Sydney.
That's beautifully said, simple, as you know. That's why we keep saying we don't have your answers. You got to find them yourself. Connect to that source of intelligence, which is a soul, right? It's infinite, limitless, and it's beautiful because now we know how to do it. That's all. We don't need to know how it all works. We know what to do, and that's all we need to do. And it's simple, very simple.
And one more other thing is just as a help. Think about, because I'm coming out of a sport field. How many times does a world champion have to practice his sport before he becomes a world champion?
A lot.
Like years. So you can't expect that you do one thing once and you become a champion at it.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen that way. Never has, never will. Even for us, think about it, as a newborn. As a newborn, you're completely helpless. You need any help from your family that you can become a person, become a human in a way. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing. So give yourself time and pace and peace to go. And that's where again, how many times did I have to go put my rowing boat on the water and do one stroke at a time, one stroke at a time, one stroke at a time, and do the next day, go and do one stroke at a time, and so on and so on. And when you do that repetitiveness, which we like, because we're creatures of habits. We love the same thing doing over and over. Then, as I said, it all melts together with the power and intelligence that comes together. So to me, that's very simple. If I want to become a champion, I have to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. That's it. You know, I can have my breaks. Like even when we rode, we had our breaks after competition, and then you go back to it, all right? That's what I'm saying. So simple, and that's all it counts.
Repetition, the mother of skill, right? Just do it over and over and over and over and over again and keep going.
Gene, I want to hear from Jeremy, because Jeremy, I think he's maybe 60, late 60 or 70 days of fasting, and he looks really good today. I want to see if he's still there.
Yeah, I'm here, Ryan G. I'm here. Yeah, no, I'm doing really good. I went to I just did my weekly dive, 34 hours, and
Awesome.
just recovering from that a bit this morning. I was just laying here and absorbing it all, and I went to a psychologist yesterday, and that was really good. I got a lot of stuff off my chest, and yeah, no, I've really been making leaps and strides. I've been feeling big shifts, and it's quite humbling doing this, like realizing how the deeper I go, the more I realize how much I've done from my past lifestyle of eating,
Mm-hmm.
and how much more there is to do, and the understanding goes deeper and deeper, and I get more glimpses of the truth, and yeah, no, I'm going really good. I'm going really good. I went to the markets last week, and I saw a bloke there, and he said, "Wow, man!" He said, "I see him." He said, "Wow, man, you look like you've shifted, like you're really in your body now," and blah 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 blah, and yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing yeah.
Good.
Doing good.
Keep digging.
Okay, next person I want to hear from is Steve, because he's in a struggle spot, I think, and I want to see how he's going.
Better today.
Better, awesome.
You know, it's funny. I've been trying to get back into the fast since Tuesday, and today I woke up and I knew I was in the fast, and I've been in the fast all day. And yet when I try to get there, I can't get there. I don't understand. That bugs me.
Yeah.
And this
You're not alone, brother.
this obsession is just, I don't know. That's some powerful stuff.
Well, if we look at all the different people that have going through this and everybody has a different ride, right? And it's beautiful to watch and everything. But yeah, we're gonna have some challenges. We know that, and we got to work through it, right?
Well, I'm coming from a different background. I'm an alcoholic.
I know.
I cannot go back and pick a drink up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the same thing with food. It's so ingrained. It's so ingrained to either feast or fast for this.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I can't pick a drug up. I can't pick a drink up. I'll be dead in no time.
Yeah. No.
There's no in between. It's nothing. It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to apply the in between with this.
You're still new in this, and you're gonna have to, rack your brain here and there to go through some of these experiences over and over. And does it ever go away completely? No. Like I said, it takes effort every single day. Just like you said when you recovered as an alcoholic, it takes effort every single day, right? So there's no difference.
The difference is it's total abstinence or it's total indulgence.
Right.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But that's how I am wired. That's how
Right.
my brain's been wired. So trying to apply that here, it's just like, wow.
Well, so this is why we do it a little bit at a time, Steve. We got to work our way. It's different than like an alcohol or a drug or something. It's in the same category, I guess we can put it, but our belief system and our program is not going to allow it to change that quick. It's not gonna happen. I've never seen it happen. All the people that have are living the breatharian type of lifestyle have taken 10, 15, 20 years. So what we're doing with MFS is we're getting the body in a state where we can feel this amazing energy and so on and so forth. But it's not completely changed over also in the physical, in the mental, but most importantly in that emotional state. Those take time to change those programs, and emotional is the most area where we need to put our work and effort. That's why we got to stay connected and continue on this, because on our own out there, good luck doing it on your own.
See, there's another problem, because my mind tells me that I can handle this on my own. That's been a theme throughout recovery. It's been the same thing, that I can do this until the pain gets so great, which is getting there, that now I have to reach out.
Yeah, well, after living this, many years, you'll come to a point where the support, you'll be there supporting others instead of, and you'll gain from that instead of you feeling that you need the support. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
And it's an ongoing thing. That's why we're still here. We're still continuing this.
Well, I've been here since the beginning of the year, and I just started posting.
Yeah.
Because the mind thinks I can handle it. I got this, no problem.
Yeah.
No, it's so.
It's important.
And that freaking food, that first mouthful of food just sets the obsession right off.
Yeah, it can. Sometimes it takes a few meals.
Sometimes it takes like a meal. Maybe after a few hours, you might feel like you want to eat more. What I suggest is maybe one meal a week, maybe 1 meal a week. You don't see that? Yeah, but this, because maybe we want to learn the lesson that to help you change your belief. If you want to stop eating, this will help you see that, okay, yeah, that was not worth it,
Mm-hmm.
Then you will go back to fasting, and then you do it again, and then you will tell yourself that's not worth it. Do it again. It will help you change your belief, It might.
I'm going to get into some deep stuff here. What happens with me, and I'm sure a lot of people here can relate to this, is I feel great when I'm fasting. Absolutely. Today, the energy is going straight through the roof. and I feel good, and I feel good about myself. The second I start eating, and I can't stop eating, now I start feeling shitty about myself. My whole self-esteem drops. This is what happens, though. I think I'm a piece of crap, and I don't deserve this.
Like the good feeling, right?
Yeah, the monkey mind.
That's and that goes back to the alcoholism. But this stuff is so ingrained in my DNA. It's going to just take what it takes to
Yeah,
But you know, this whole
rewire it.
all in or out, you know, mentality is not just with you because you've done this with
No,
alcohol,
I know that.
but also, for example, me, I feel like it's either all in or, I mean, many times I said to myself, I want to become liquidarian, you know, many times. So it's been years, actually, maybe 2 years that I started doing Massive Fast Weekly. And after that, I said, no, like even 1 day a week is not worth it. And so I said, okay, and I binged in between. And then I said, okay, it's going to be liquid. And the reason I binged is because I wanted to do liquidarian. I kind of wanted to prove to myself that it's not worth it again, you know, just to be 100% sure, you know. Yeah. But it would be extreme pain, of course. And then I did the 116 days. That was my longest. Not hard at all. And the only reason I stopped it is because I lost a lot of weight. But that was the only reason. It was very easy. It was so easy. The hardest part is the beginning, not towards the end. The hardest part is the beginning, starting the fast. Yeah, it was so easy. Once you're in, after 2 months, that's it. There's no hunger, there's no cravings, there's nothing. You feel light, you feel energetic, you feel loving and giving, and you don't mind even making food I didn't mind making food for people, you know? Yeah.
How's the kidneys?
Oh, fine when I'm eating. No pain at all.
Isn't that interesting?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's been more the left kidney too lately.
Yeah, there's something you're holding on to. You'll.
I know that.
Yeah.
Generations as well, who knows?
Steve, can I see with the cycle you're going through, you know, with the obsessions and with the addictions, and that you either have to go full gas or completely nothing. All right, and see what helped me, what I do, and I've explained it once before, is that you gotta remember the pattern of thought, emotion, word, action, habits. The same way as you create your bad habits, it's the same it's the same cycle you're going through. It comes in your mind, it gives you an emotion, you put it in a word, you get your action going. It's like if you complain with food or with alcohol or whatever, you know, you start to think about it, then it gives you a good feeling, and then you go to the bottle, and then you go to the food, and you go this, and you keep it, and it's a habit. I want you to know that the same principle is just putting start off with a different thought. And you got to keep doing that to yourself. The same as we got to do everything, remember, creature of habits. And when you find, now, in regards to food, or in regards to not being able to control yourself, let that happen. Let that go through. Don't fight it. Think it through. Think it through. Okay, I'll let myself destroy. I'll let myself destroy. Your self-esteem goes down. All that, let it go through, but then change the thought and bring a thought in that is inspiring to you. All right? And then you create with that thought, and that might be, see, everybody has a different trigger for that. Everybody gets triggered in a different way, or triggers themselves in a different way. There could be something that is, okay, I've just got to go to that's what I do. I go to the park, and I do a bit of sun gazing. So I go on that and think that through and through. The whole day, I wait till I can go at 5 o'clock and do a bit of sun gazing at the park. And I let that go the whole day through my mind. While I work, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And then I go there and I see this, and you let it run through. Because first of all, it gets you away from from your bad habits. Secondly, it reinforces a point of comfort. Because when I go and do it, okay, the dogs always interrupt me on that, and that's shitty, but I'll get over that. But that then in itself helps me tremendously through the whole day. When I keep that thought, my emotion, my word, and then see, once you can do the action, and that's the most important thing, do the action, think about it, and then let it action. Then you have a chance of kicking other habits out and get a new habit going. But don't hold yourself, if a bad habit is there, lift the bad habit, but try to find another habit that can kick it out, okay? And then day by day, you'll find that you're able to live with a better habit that you inspire yourself by. I don't know what triggers you, you know what I mean? You have to, you know, I'm sure deep down you know what makes you feel comfortable or whatever is a good habit for you. That to me, that is it. I just live that because I know then I'm not going to do that. And that's as simple as that, because I think the whole day just about that particular thing or things, because I stagger it. I got something in the morning, I got something in the afternoon, I got something in the evening. And then I just swap me thoughts and then swap me pattern. And that seems to me, or helps me a hell of a lot just to get away from getting back into bad habits. And at the end, once you differentiate between good and bad, as I say, it's a choice then. Okay, I'll lift a bad habit today for a while. That's great. But then I go back to my good habits and do that, you know. And that's irrespective of everything else around me. I'll do that by myself. So it's the thought, becomes the emotion, becomes the word, becomes the action, and that turns into a habit. It's the habit that make us, isn't it? Like it's, you know, because for decades you've had such bad habits, and to get away from it, change it with good habits. That's all. It's again simple.
Yeah.
Good habits in your head, same as the bad habits. Hat off, hat on, hat. Yeah, it's just that's. And once you understand, and again, this is a process for me, and that process is also because, yes, I rode 100,000 kilometers. I know what it means to do this over and over and over, and I know what it achieves. And that's then the certainty that you get inside yourself. When you have that certainty, you can then tackle the bad habits. You can actually take them head on, and you know, that face the demons. You know what I mean? Don't push them away. Face them and say, man, you got no choice. You got no chance here anymore. I've let it go right over my head. It's all good here. Just as my little tool.
Awesome. That's why we say change everything from A to Z, because if you keep all those old triggers around, it's going to be tough to change. You got to make new triggers for the new habits, like you were just saying. You got to do it. You can't expect to stay in the same exact environment, everything exact same, and change your whole lifestyle. It's very, very challenging to do that. But I know, Steve, you love gardening, and you're able to do way more than you've ever done in a long time.
Oh yeah.
So focus on that, right? You're feeding, you feed all kinds of people with the food you grow, right? Is that what you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know how much you're getting in return by giving all that love out is just endless. Tap into that. When you think about, the eating thing, change the thought, catch yourself, and tap into what you're doing and helping people and so on and so forth. Tap into those fields.
Oh, Steve, just on that, what Gina said, you see, I forgot that, yeah. With your garden, with your growing your vegetables and all that, remember I said before that knowing what weeds you can eat, That's another thing to me, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that I've started to go back into it. Because I tell you, when you actually can go out there into nature and pick your chickweeds, your purslane, your dandelions, your mulberries, your all that stuff. When you actually go and you collect that, Steve, I've done that for a while, and I tell you, the result is you're out there and you're not getting, you're completely focused on that. I could not believe how much focused I was walking along, you know, the borderlines where forest and grass meets.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's that's where you find the most stuff, or along a creek. Mate, and you do that already with your vegetables. Maybe, I mean, that will for me be a complete trigger point. Finding something like that and then make your own salads. And then guts yourself on that salad. If you eat a chickweed salad, I had chickweed ones a kilo and a half, you know? And I put a little bit of lemon juice on it, a few spices, and that's all I had. You know what I mean? Now, there is something that you find that it comes straight back to you, you know what I mean? That's connection. But that's something that me personally, again, I'm not you know what I mean? Everybody has to find their own. But I know that when Gina said about the gardening, you love your veggies, you love your, that is something that even, like, see, that will be one of the next steps in my front yard, that I want to get terrace that and just seed weeds, you know? Because I think that what's one of the best things that gives you the most out of food, the best thing that you can have. What nature breeds by itself, not what we agriculturally do, but what actually nature provides. Man, that saps you right up, you know what I mean? That really is something. Just see that inspired me now. You see, I'm all ready to go. Ready to go. I've packed my bags and I'm gone, mate. I'm fully gone now, you know.
I've found, Hans, eating wild foods, it's tough to eat a large amount of them. They're really powerful.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, because you see, that's where I'm saying that's when you pack it in. But you see, it's like anything. Once you do something, you go, and let's go a bit extreme on that, you know what I mean? You're sort of experiencing it. I couldn't do that either. I mean, like I can't eat, you know, eat dandelion. I mean, it's very bitter, you know what I mean? Like you can do it only within certain amounts. But I'm just saying there's such a variety out there. Once I found wild cabbage, that's something sensational. It's absolutely fantastic. Doesn't grow as much, but again, that's when you see, that's where you got to then find like-minded and so on and so on. But again, see, that changes your whole focus away into something that actually is beneficial, you know? Instead of sitting in the same circle, in the same vicious circle that you turn around, you got to put the foot down, get out of it, foot down, out of it, just, and what you get out of it, what you get into it is then what changes, you know what I mean? That's what, then you can, yes, you fall back into it, because we've done it for too many decades. But I'm saying that foot down, vicious circle, stop, out, you know what I mean? It's just that little bridge again, you know what I mean? Simple.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Gino, is it okay to hear from David Stiller how he's going with his balancing act? And Johnny, he's just started his Master Fast system. I want to hear how he's going in his first week. Sorry.
No,
Johnny, did you go inside?
Yeah, I had to. It was too cold, but I got the dog and sis here, so I got to go outside.
You could put another beanie on. Easy.
Huh?
You could put a second beanie on. That'll make you warm.
Yeah, I was thinking a scarf. I'll get it after we get off. Everything's good. Everything's really good. It's. I think I'm close to the week. I probably should have done a dry today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. Only issue I'm having right now is that I got a couple of blockages up there, so I'm gonna try to get a colonic this week if I can, because I'm feeling a little. I'm not drinking that much juice, and I know the drill, but I don't know. I know I have a blockage there, so I'm doing a lot of enemas. I always do like some in the morning, some at night,
awesome.
but I'm just not getting the releases that I like. So I'm gonna shoot for a colonic. this week. But other than that, everything's really good. Really good. It's just, you know, Steve, it's just allowing ourselves to feel as good as we can and not going back into those old patterns, you know?
Yeah, no matter what, we can't beat ourselves up. You know, it's
Right.
we're put in this realm to experience all these different things, and yeah, it's going to be tough and challenging sometimes. But beating ourselves up isn't going to help. But the monkey mind will come in and give it its opinion all the time, right?
Yep. But as we all know, the further we get into it too, the less our mind does that to us. The less we're thinking, the more calm we are, you know?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit too. You know, I grew up in the restaurant business, and when I was like 4, 5, 6, whatever, my father used to always give me the end of his wine when we go out to dinner. So like, I remember having the hiccups on the way home from dinner when I was like 7.
Wow.
But you know, when I lived above the restaurant when I was in high school, and when my dad would leave, we would all go down. Like I would invite my friends over, and we would go down to the basement of the restaurant and just, you know, I mean, I was drinking like 2 bottles of Chianti when I was 17, like nothing. So I get the drinking, Steve, I really do. And then for me personally, I just had enough and I had to let go of it. But a lot of guys from AA used to come into the restaurant, and you could always tell when there was a new guy there because they wouldn't sit at the bar or near the bar. They would always get a table further away. I was lucky enough. I did go to one. I went to an AA meeting actually with someone else. For some reason, I just had enough and just did it. But I'll say to somebody, you know, I haven't drank in. It's really crazy, but I actually started drinking wine. I was last year when I did my longer one. I started drinking red wine again, and I hadn't drank in 14 years. You know, and it's okay. It doesn't have power over me anymore. But I would tell people like, no, I don't drink. And the first thing out of the general public's mind is, what are you, an alcoholic? And I go, well, if I haven't drank in 14 years, how can I be an alcoholic? Like, I love what AA does for people, Steve, but so many of those people are still relying, they're calling themselves alcoholics, even if they haven't had a drink in 20 years. And these guys are telling they're telling their horrible life stories every time they stand up, you know? So there comes a point for me where it's like, you got to get it, you know, it's all on us. That stuff's awesome for a start, but long term, I find it's as much as a ball and chain as the actual drinking sometimes, minus the, you know, minus that stuff. So just keep going, man. It's you'll be all right. And the longer you do it, as far as the sober goes, I remember when I first quit, I'd go to a bar. Like I quit drinking, but I would still go to bars, but I would have like 8 or 9 Red Bulls instead of drink. But somebody literally walked up to me one night and they're like, "You're completely sober, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how could you tell?" So, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And honestly, it affects the other people around you. It bothers them more than it bothers you.
Oh yeah.
It comes to a point, you know, they'll be like, "How can you do that? You're not drinking, or you're not doing this," and it's like, you know, but it gets easier, Steve. Really, try not to get lost in it. You know, I got another friend that's going through the same thing right now, and he's experienced this too. But it's, you know, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And we're all here, Steve. If you ever want to, you know, yell at me. Don't yell at yourself. Call me and yell at me. You know, like it's you, and we'll do it that way.
Such an old habit. So I haven't had a drink in 23 years.
Right, but you're still calling yourself an alcoholic. I don't know. It's kind of odd, you know. Think about it.
From my experience, the people that leave are dead. Everybody,
but you're talking about all the people that relied on AA too. Look at me. Now, you can't say that anymore because I did it. Yeah. And I got stories like you wouldn't believe, Steve. Like nothing. I never heard anybody, only myself, but I got unbelievable stories. You know, and I always walked away, but I'm an example right here, you know? And it wasn't a problem for me either. Like I didn't hurt other people. I didn't black out. I became a I would trip down the stairs intentionally and make people laugh and stuff, you know?
Other people's journeys are not your journey, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you can't say everyone you know who's gone back, because I'm an example right here.
Yeah, because
you know,
that's your belief system.
Right. Right now, it's currently how you think, and it's with the experiences that you've had. But once you get out, you know, and I grew up in the restaurant, so I used to think, what do you mean I can't drink? Like that was my first big step. And it's like, how all my friends drink, everybody I know drinks, blah 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 blah. But the more you get out there, you realize so many people in this world don't drink, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's never even been a big thing in their upbringing, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Steve, your eyes look good though. You look clear.
oh yeah.
You know, you got a nice tan too.
Oh yeah. Love the sun.
I do too.
I
Love it.
love the
Gives
sun.
me energy.
Yeah.
Jeanette, your tan's awesome, by the way. If she's still there. Hey, Rana, did you see that little thing I sent you guys? That's the Ritz-Carlton in Ontario, right? That you guys are staying at?
The what thing?
The Ritz-Carlton? Are you guys staying in the Ritz right now?
No.
I'm just joking.
We're downtown, but we're not staying in any hotels, an apartment,
Yeah, this is
condo.
we came to my dad, immediately sat down for the meeting. They're downstairs.
Where Rana used to live.
Nice.
Oh,
Hi, Janet.
Actually, she did, Jeanette, because I remember your interview there, sweetheart. I remember your interview. No, she's there.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Thanks for remembering me. I always love all your input, Ranjit. Thank you so much. And John, I appreciate it. I've been working on my tan since Costa Rica.
Looks good.
Yeah, the only issue is I've been off the MFS since then. It's been about 5 months. Oh no. So
Yep.
I'm just coming on tonight for inspiration and support, and everything that you all added has helped me.
You know, Jeanette, Scott's last video was really good. And like a couple of us that have been in the group for a couple of years, we talk a lot about how we do crash and we all come back. So it's, because it's tough for some of the newbies. They don't understand what we're talking about. So I think it's good for the members now to actually be coming back around and you know, seeing through that.
Part of the process.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important. I feel much stronger emotionally, even though I haven't been on the Master Fast. It's like, I feel like I discovered MFS maybe 3 years ago, and I can relate to like things that Elaine, you were saying. And by the way, I'm from Brampton originally, so we should definitely chat. But yeah, like some of the things that I don't know how new you are. Sorry, I don't know you very well. I haven't been really active in the Facebook group either. But anytime I hear people who are beginners on the Master Fast system, I fully relate to the struggles. And I just know that you just get stronger and stronger, you know, as the years pass. And you care less and less what other people think. And you realize that really, even though we're always alone, you know, on this journey, we're never really alone, you know, we're always with the self and we have one another. So it's a really beautiful journey, even though I've been off for about 5 months. I'm excited to set a date. I really don't know what to do, actually. What do you do when you don't know how to get back on? Like, I'm trying to think. I know that I do better with full MFS. Like, I don't do that well with, you know, a lifestyle. I've tried it several times. So I don't know. Has anybody experienced falling off and then?
Yes, Jeanette, just come back on the 3-day full moon. Reset yourself on a 3-day dry with all of us. There's a lot of us drying over the full moon. You're welcome to come in and enjoy the fields.
3-day dry, eh? Okay, I've only done 48 hours ever.
Do a mix up. Do a 2-day MFS and 1-day dry. over the full moon.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, some people like going like 30 days on, 30 days off, 30 days on, 30 days off, or whatever, a week on, week off. There's many ways. You have to find something that you can work with. That's all.
Interesting. That sounds good. 30 days on, 30 days off. I will definitely be considering that. I've already penciled in MFS for end of August, but I just don't know like how to approach it, you know?
Yeah.
Now is always a good time.
Yeah, it's got to happen because I'm starting to feel it. It's interesting because now that I've gone back to eating, in the past when I was weaker and I really needed MFS because I was really suffering and I had to do it, I feel like the suffering is what supported me in the beginning. Like I was motivated because of that pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And now that I no longer have that, it's interesting. Like I'm eating and I'm like, oh, but I feel still pretty free in my body. Like I can eat again. But then there's different symptoms that have come up that I never had before that are just like, you know, slightly uncomfortable. And you know that, yeah, it's because you're eating every day. It just
Exactly.
makes, yeah.
Yeah, you become more in tune with what's going on, more and more and more.
Yeah, and even if I just eat one meal a day, that's not like, you know, raw, for instance, like I'll feel like a subtle, lately I've been feeling something and it's like, oh, I still keep up with my enemas and colonics. I've been seeing Rana. I saw her all of July, like once every 7 or 10 days. I had it penciled in. Anyways, it's interesting what you just feel like in your body as the years go on and you've healed, you know, certain things. There's other things that come up for sure. You're not disciplined.
We become more and more aware the more we go into this, and you will know exactly how every single morsel of food will affect you because you're aware. These are positive, not negatives. Most people probably look at it as negative, but our senses are there for a reason, right? And the awareness is infinite. The senses are just physical. They're limited to the physical realm, but the awareness is limitless, and that's the place where you go and access any information you want, which is freaking amazing.
Hey, Jen, I want to add on that because I'm a big believer that you can't do it through the mind, right? You have to go to the observed place, into the soul. I know most people know my story. The way I dealt with cravings was in the realms. It was never in the physical or the mind. You could not deal with it in the mind.
Exactly.
It has to be there, has to be in the limitless place. But now you can pick and choose your realms, whatever you're going through. You know, when you learn, I suppose it is like a habit, Hans Peter, but when you learn how to have this intimate relationship with the soul, because Steve, for you, mate, my brother, I love you so much, is that what's really happening for you, I feel, is that these things are just coming up to the surface because they've been suppressed so long, and it's an opportunity to jump for joy because it's an opportunity for you to finally have freedom that you truly deserve, and that we all deserve that freedom. But the only way I feel, what most people can do is have that intimate relationship with the soul and have that intimate relationship with the energy field and the creator. You have to go inwards. You always have to go inwards. It's the only way. Forget everything else. Forget everything that you've learned. You know, just dump that information for the moment and just all that responsibility and just go into that secret place. It's a secret place that really pulls you through. Well, for me, that's how people ask me, that's it. It's like keep it simple, smart. That's it. That's all you do. But how you get there? Well, that's the key, isn't it? How do you get there? Number one, you've got, like what you said, Gino, you know, you've got to change your environment. You've got to be living in the change. You wake up every morning, I put my soles on the feet, and I'm in automatic gratitude. Automatic gratitude. How much does gratitude expand out into the world and the frequent and the fields? You're just there. Your field strength increases So anyone that comes close to you, it changes. Your relationships deepen. Things, the whole thing about food, for me now in my fasted state, I do not have any emotional attachments to the word food. I see food like a stone. I see food like dirt. It's just the same form of energy that you can put in your mouth and it comes out of your GI tract. This is just a vessel, an empty vessel. So when I look at food and everything's love, everything is love in the energy field of love, then when you see food or you see other people consuming, I'm already blessing it before they put it in their mouth. I'm already blessing the sacrifice of that food and that celebration in a love field, because if you consume it, then you're going to take it in a form of love. And then when you take it in a form of love, you're going to take out any gunk that's in you that's going to be also love, and it's going to go through you. And same with all your purging, same with the stuff that's coming up to the surface. It's just being in that soul place when you're just about to consume, because it changes everything. It changes everything when you're in the love field. And it's just so simple to do. It's so simple that we complicate it in our heads and our life experiences, and they are not true. It's just a form of reality that kind of happened in an event, and that event's still living here today. But the event doesn't have to live here today. The event can be honoured with its love and released like everything else. When you're in the moment of releasing and releasing and releasing, it just automatically becomes a habit. You don't even think about it. The mind is just reprogrammed. It's reprogrammed, it's recoded, and it's in the place. I love my mind so much now, Gino. Like I apologise to my mind. It's a soul on its own. I apologise to it. I said, I'm so sorry to make you suffer for so long. Why did I let you suffer for so long when it was so simple? Just to go to the Creator and be in the empty space, feel those spirals of energy and stuff inside of you, and feel the love and show yourself. Show that. Give it out. It doesn't belong to you. Give it out in any form, like you do, Steve, when you go do your gardening, like Elaine, what you do with your children. Jeremy, what you do, and John and everyone here. We're just emanating it. And it's just a matter of knowing it's not about you. It's never about you. And when you get rid of that stuff and you're just left with a very small film of I am that I am, just that very small film, then I tell you what, it makes the life experience and human experience such a beautiful experience. That anything you see the face of God behind it. Always, always. I love you all so much. You have no idea my love for this group. What you've done for so many people here, Gino and Rana, honestly, you are blessed beyond the outer galaxies and back. We just love you so much, and I love everybody here. You're all my family. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying. Even if I go to the Himalayas, you're coming with me. I'm taking Facebook with me.
You better take us with you. Because we're going to miss you. Steve, I wanted to ask, so are you considering going liquidarian?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's some background noise. It's muted, no? Yeah, there's somebody. Yeah, I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
David, Edmund, I don't know, for some reason you're
Looks like
coming through. It must be a glitch.
Okay. Yeah. So Steve, you have considered doing liquidarian, right?
Yes.
The past few days, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And how is that? How do you feel about it? It's a big decision, isn't it?
It's a big decision.
Quite scary.
Quite a bit of fear.
Yeah. Of letting go, right? Of the food and the experiences.
That's you just nailed it. It's just the fear of letting go.
Yeah, I've been there. So yeah, so that's great. That's where it starts. honestly, like, I mean, why don't you go for it? It's much harder to think about it than to do it. That's for sure. Okay. Once you start the master fast, give it 2 months. You've done 60 days, right?
Yes.
Give it 60 days, and then, be patient with yourself for 60 days. Let the emotions go, whatever, and observe. And then after that, you'll find it is so easy to continue. So on liquidarian. So keep going.
And Steve, like I said, don't hesitate. Like I know a lot of people say it, but I'm serious. If you're freaking out or whatever, don't be afraid to ask for any of our help in here.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Seriously. And the more you open up, the more you're gonna open up.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah,
I know that. I know that.
you
Doing
know,
it's a whole another.
Right.
you
I know
know,
it all. I know everything intellectually. I know everything.
and also within
That disconnect between the mind and the heart and the soul. It's still everything's still so disconnected. The ego says that I can handle it.
Yeah, you can do it. Anyone can.
Yeah.
But find peace. Enjoy if you want to eat for a bit. Enjoy, um, and then say, okay, you know what, I'm ready. Don't. I mean, I've done it many times. I've overdone eating and stuff because I was afraid. I don't know. Maybe be with your wife, enjoy a few meals, and then say to yourself, okay, now I am ready.
Yeah, I'm very seriously contemplating it. Very serious.
Mm. Yeah, it's a great. It's the best way to go. I'm not gonna lie to you. So far, it's been the best.
Nothing feels better.
The best feeling has been full fasting. Not definitely not eating, not even 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So
I think some of the fear is also that kidney thing too.
yeah.
But I got all the tools. I got all the tools here now to work on that. Everything's in place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You gotta do your kolimas as much as you can.
I just got to set it up. I got to change the toilet fixture, so that's all changed. Hopefully tomorrow I have that set up.
Yeah. Anytime you get kidney pain while fasting, just go for another kolima. Just add another one.
You can do it out in your garden if you really want to.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you're going to have dead green juice with me from September? Because I'm having dead green juice. I'm not juicing.
I think so. I think
I'm going
so.
for the pasteurized, dead stuff, chemicals in it, everything.
Yeah.
Awesome. We can try different juices. You can tell me what you're having and I'm having.
I tried the watermelon juice. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The seeded, I tried one with no seeds and it wasn't as good, but I got a couple of seeded ones. What a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. The seedless,
So much sweeter.
Yeah, the seedless has a weird taste to me. I don't know. Strange.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Because I was reading something about that, and wherever it was, they said that the seedless ones have come a long way in 5 years. I'm like, oh, so they're playing with them.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
They're playing with everything.
But
You're proud of it.
it was hard to find. Not hard. Actually, I ended up finding it at Walmart. They had seeded watermelons around here. Nobody else had them. All the shopping centers are all seedless.
Even the Concord grapes, there are seedless varieties. They still work. Cook them. They still.
I don't know whatever Costco uses. That's really good juices. That's what I. Really good price too.
Awesome.
Hey, David Eldon. How you going there, buddy? Can you hear us? No. Susan, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm kind of occupied right now. I'm kind of
Oh yeah.
too much information, but I'm doing my enema right now. So I'm not going to look at you right now.
That's all right.
Doing good.
Excellent.
Doing really good.
Awesome. Enjoy. Enjoy releasing.
Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't realize.
All right, see you, Jeremy. Just gotta go. Already left.
Bye, Jeremy. 9:30.
Miss Barbara.
Kasha's just jumped in. It's a girlfriend of mine. She's come over to visit.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. She's on Raw, and now we got to get her on Master Fast. How long have you been on Raw?
Maybe 3 months now.
Oh,
Okay.
Are we closing down?
Soon.
Okay.
You got something to say?
Yeah, Jeanette.
Who, me?
we're, we're bringing the raw food is back to cook.
I told her all about you while I had my screen shut. I was like, this is Gino, the founder of MasterFast System. I was like, this is Rhonda, the colon hydrotherapist I go to. You've heard a lot about them, right?
She told me everything. Everything.
Oh.
That's right.
And then I pointed out those of you who are from Australia and all sorts of different little tidbits I filled her in with.
Yeah, everything's a lie.
Oh, that's too bad. I heard really great things about you.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of freaks, you know, doing things that nobody else wants to do.
Well, somebody's got to do it. So thank you for leading the way.
How much weight have you lost on the Raw?
It's been at about 15 pounds.
She says that she hasn't been this weight since she was like 8 years old.
Wow. Yeah, the raw food thing is wonderful. I did it for almost a decade, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
I told her what I learned from MasterFast is that skinny is healthy. And that society's walking around a little bit chubby and we think that's beautiful.
Well,
A little too much.
we eat way too much. You know, as we say, 7 days a week of eating is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. 6 days is already too much, and anything more than 5, we don't need.
Oh, I forgot to mention that she has been also doing some fasting. It's not master fasting, but what has your fasting been like?
So I do 2 24-hour fasts a week.
Dry?
On water, yeah.
Water? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good start.
We'll get her on dry soon.
And on the herbs, right?
Oh yes, she's using your herbs.
Awesome.
I say herbs with a hard 8.
And I say herbs.
Herbs, all good.
We both enjoy them.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to live compared to what most people are doing. Food is the go-to thing for most people. Everything revolves around food. No matter where you turn, people are eating. And when you discuss things about fasting being a lifestyle, it's it's pretty extreme for people because they just we're not taught anything about fasting, even though it's built in our inherent design. All animals fast when they get injured or they're sick. It's automatic. And they don't drink water. They dry fast. They either heal or they die. That's the beauty and the cruelty of nature, if you want to put it, but it has to be that way for the strong to survive and carry on as a species. It wouldn't be the other way. Whereas in humanity, it's completely opposite. We're supporting and trying to keep all the weaknesses of people going, and it's bringing humanity weaker and weaker and weaker, and the generations are getting weaker and weaker and weaker and sicker and sicker and sicker. So it's complete opposite of how the universe works. And here we are today. coming to that basic understanding, and we have the resolution on how to get back to balance. And it's so simple. And we just structured it in a way where everybody can do it and thrive with challenges, but it's only because we're living in a societies that don't support this. That's all it is. If everybody was doing it, wouldn't be a problem. Eating, what are you doing eating? That would be strange, people eating.
Gino, we have to count the days we eat, not to count the days we fast.
Right.
Actually, I have a question for you, Gino, if it's all right, because I don't know who to ask.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon you can answer it. Because you know how your body goes through adaptations? So in the first 30 days, around 21 to 30 days, there's an adaptation that happens in your body, like you transition physically, you know. And this seems to happen, like, to me, you know, you see the patterns forming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So something happens with season changes, right? Kind of sort of start to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel things now because I'm so much in tune with the fields. I feel things before they're going to happen. Like I sort of have this, like the soul tells you. So
Exactly.
I had a transition around June, right? As I remember, I had a big transition around June because that's when the cranial correction happened. I went into my light body. The body changed. You know how you always say, "I have a look at yourself in the mirror every week." Yeah, you've got to do that. The body changes, and so I feel this new transition happening. There's this new adaptation happening, physically, emotionally, spirit, all links up together, right? So, but I feel it in my body a lot, you know, and it's really hard to explain. Like you feel your organs change because you can feel things, right? So you feel the cells and you see it's going into this new environment, but you don't know what the environment is because it's new because you're living in the unknowing place.
I understand where you're going. What's happening is you're converting fields exclusively instead of matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the body loves that. And that's where you get into the body starts self-hydrating, self-feeding itself because you're able to get into contact with that limitless realm where anything you need is there. And the more you get into that space, the more you get in touch with those feelings. That's why you're talking about the season changes. Why do you think we do season changes fast? I've been doing those for 33 decades. I caught on to that quick. There's a season change on the planet and things shift. Do you think we don't shift with it? Of course we do. And how better to reset yourself with the shift of the planet? Fast. Now we're doing a dry fast, but before I was doing other various fasts. But fasting, it resets you always, always, always. And it's you can start like you've done a lot of fasting in a short time, but it's amazing when the body starts self-hydrating. That's a real huge step. It's a place where it's virtually unknown. Very few people have probably experienced that and even come to the understanding that the body can do that. So once it starts happening, everything changes, and is why you get into these wonderful states and you start getting that nectar of God happening over and over and over, right? And then that's that when you start feeling the nectar of God, tasting the nectar of God, you're into the space of self-feeding, self-hydrating, even if it's just the initial stages. And then we go back to food and it's all over, and we go back to fasting and start to come back. But it's a beautiful place to be. And
okay, you understand. Okay, I know I'm never going cuckoo, right? And I appreciate that because I'm so much trusted and surrender in the soul because you've got to do that. There's no other way.
You're getting into those. You're getting into the downloads of that information. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I think your brain's actually already recoded in somewhat. Like I find when you do the dries, because the magic happens in the dries, as you know, Gina. I hope people don't mind me us talking about this, because there's no one talking about how, I go with my feelings, my experience, and I trust what we're all going through together, and I don't mind being the example for this, for us. But when you go into the dries, because the dries pull you, right, it's after the dry where the downloads and the recoding and that all kind of happens. That's why I love the dry so much. And I stick to the protocols, because if you don't stick to the protocols, you're going to lose it. I feel, not lose it, but I feel that the body's not going to adapt at its right. The way you've designed it, Gina, far out, man, it's just perfect. Like, so that 3-day month dry now, I'm doing the moons now. So I've started that from June. I'm doing it on the moons. It's just so powerful, because what happens afterwards, things happen, right? And then you get the downloads and you get the recoding, and you've got to trust in that recoding, because it doesn't matter even what I say or you say, Gino. It's the experience, right? It's being in that space of emptiness. And so now when you get to trust that and you have this intimate relationship entwined with the creator, okay, if your stuff outside of your external thing is not improving, if your relations outside of you are not improving, that means you're going too fast. I feel the external has to correlate with what's happening with the intimate relationship with inside, with the soul and the trust. Okay, so you have to see the eyes different. So when you move, that's why you need to go slow rather than fast. I agree with you, Rana. I really do. I see it now. But you anticipate the changes before they happen. And I'm anticipating. And you're right, it's the nectar of God, because that nectar of God, which I've been really tasting since June, it's so freaking powerful that you don't need taste anymore. If you resolve taste, you resolve everything. So does that sort of line up with your understanding, Gina? Because I feel sometimes I want this to help you. Yeah.
I didn't design anything. It all comes through downloads through fast.
Yeah. So it's resonance, isn't it? It's real.
The information is there because it's available for all of us, and you tap into that. And the long dries is really where it just blows you away of what you can tap into. And we highly recommend people, once you start getting into the second, third year, start expanding the dries. If you're living and loving it, if you're actually living and loving it, if you're not living and loving it, don't bother. Don't bother going into the long dries. Your body's not going to be happy. That's what everybody else is doing out there.
Yeah. No, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me. I'm in another place. I understand. So, yeah, it's good to have it recorded. It's good. It's good for other people.
Yeah. We're gonna have to wrap up now. We got family and stuff. We're happening. We'd love to keep going all night, but it's thank you so much, Elaine, for sharing your experience. Did she leave?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we thank her so much for sharing her experience. It was awesome. Somebody who couldn't functioning back to better than she ever has. So these things are the norm in the MFS realm. Like, as we say, everything's freaking possible, and you feel freaking amazing if you freaking live it and love it. So that's what we're here doing, and we continue, guys. So we'll see you back on the page, and have a great time. Ciao, ciao, everybody.
Love you
Keep the
all.
plasma.
Good night, everybody. Love you. Have a good night.
Love you all.
You too. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. See you too. Bye-bye.